Ultamize. Your weekends are not just empty space between work weeks. They are a major part of your life. And the quality of your weekends quietly shapes the quality of your emotional health, your energy, your relationships, your habits, your recovery, and your overall sense of fulfillment over time. You don't need perfectly optimized weekends. You do need more intentional weekends. Weekends that contain more restoration instead of endless distraction, more participation instead of passive drift, more movement instead of endless sitting, more connection instead of accidental isolation. You need more anticipation instead of emotional flatness, more experiences that leave you feeling more alive instead of more depleted. Passive consumption on your phone, on your TV, on your iPad, that is not always restoration. Convenience is not always recovery, and stimulation is not always nourishment. Many modern adults unknowingly spend huge portions of their free time consuming low effort digital stimulation that leaves them emotionally flatter afterward instead of emotionally fuller. Your attention matters. Your environment matters. Your repeated patterns matter because repeated patterns eventually become habits, and habits eventually become lifestyle. You don't have to remove all technology from your life. You don't need to become anti screen or anti entertainment, but you do need to recognize that modern technology companies are constantly competing for your attention through repeated reinforcement, through notifications, autoplay, recommendations, alerts, badges, endless feeds, environmental cues. The modern world already shapes behavior constantly. This is why intentional reinforcement matters. One of the core ideas behind Ultimize is that lasting behavioral change usually requires repeated exposure and reinforcement over time, not merely one moment of inspiration. You already know many of the basics. You know sleep matters. You know movement matters. You know relationships matter. You know excessive screen consumption can quietly drain emotional energy. The challenge is not usually more information. The challenge is creating repeated patterns that become automatic over time. One of the most powerful shifts many adults can make is reconnecting movement with enjoyment instead of punishment. The treadmill often requires discipline. Play creates desire. Find movement that creates anticipation. Maybe that's swimming, maybe it's tennis, golf, walking, cycling, dance, swimming, basketball, hiking, or something entirely different. The specific activity matters less than whether it creates movement, engagement, anticipation, and emotional energy. Protect your sleep rhythm, protect your attention, protect your weekends from unconscious drift. And remember this, meaningful weekends usually don't happen accidentally. They are intentionally designed through repeated choices, repeated habits, repeated environments, and repeated emotional patterns over time. You don't need to become perfect. You simply need to become more aware of what genuinely restores you and more intentional about building those experiences into your life consistently. Because personal development is not only about becoming more productive, it's also about learning how to build a life that feels more joyful, more connected, more restorative, and more fully alive.